Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We'll continue reading from the Bhagavad-Gita as it is, chapter 15, text number 2. The Yoga of the Supreme Person. Purushottam Yoga. As this is Purushottam month, so jump from 3rd chapter to 15th chapter. It's a good meditation as we go along this chapter. Only 20 verses, but it's very appropriate to meditate on the Purushottam, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Uttam Purush. Yes. Yeah, we can read again. Okay. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhvamulam Adhashakam Ashvatam Prahur Avyayam Chandam Siyasya Purnani Yastang Veda Sabedave. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "It is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas." Next text. Adhaschordhvam prasritastasya sako guna prabhridha visaya prabhala adascha mulani anusantatani Karmanubandhini manushya loke. Word for word meaning. Adha, downward. Cha, and. Urdhvam, upward. Prashrita, extended. Tasya, its. Sakha, branches. Guna, by the modes of material nature. Prabridha, developed. Vishaya, sense objects. Prabala, twigs. Andha, downward. Cha, and. Mulani, roots. Anusantatani, extended. Karma, to work. Anubandhini, bound. Manushya loke, in the world of human society. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The branches of this tree extended downward and upward, nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are objects of the senses. This tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive actions of human society. Everybody please repeat, everyone all together. The branches of this tree extend downward and upward, nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are objects of the senses. This tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive actions of human society. Srila Prabhupada's purport. The description of the banyan tree is further explained here. Its branches spread in all directions. In the lower parts, there are variegated manifestations of living entities, human beings, animals, horses, cows, dogs, cats, etc. These are situated on the lower parts of the branches, whereas on the upper parts are higher forms of living entities, the demigods, Gandharvas, and many other higher species of life. As a tree is nourished by water, so this tree is nourished by the three modes of material nature. Sometimes we find that a tract of land is barren for want of sufficient water, and sometimes a tract is very green. Similarly, where particular modes of material nature are proportionately greater in quantity, the different species of life are manifested accordingly. The twigs of the tree are considered to be the sense objects. By development of the different modes of nature, we develop different senses. And by the senses, we enjoy different varieties of sense objects. The tips of the branches are the senses, the ears, nose, eyes, etc., which are attached to the enjoyment of different sense objects. The twigs are sound, form, touch, and so on, the sense objects. The subsidiary roots are attachments and aversions, which are byproducts of different varieties of suffering and sense enjoyment. The tendencies toward piety and impiety are considered to develop from these secondary roots, which is spread in all directions. The real root is from Brahmaloka, and the other roots are in the human planetary systems. After one enjoys the results of virtuous activities in the upper planetary systems, he comes down to this earth and renews his karma or fruitive activities for promotion. This planet of human beings is considered the field of activities. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta Purport, Chapter 15, the Yoga of the Supreme, text number 2. Om Jnanantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksuranmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalang Shri Gurung Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Geurange Radhe Vrindavanispare Visabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaisnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivas Adi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Adaschordham prasritastasya saka Guna prabhrida vishaya prabhala Adascha mulani anusantatani Karmanubandhini manushya loke. The branches of this tree extend downward and upward, nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are the objects of the senses. This tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive actions of human society. So this is a continuation of the description of the material world. It's a tree compared to upside down. The real tree is in this spiritual world. And it explains here that this tree usually is not, you don't find this tree. You can only find it if you're near the bank of a river, where the river, the reflection of the tree from your perception, if you look, it's upside down. The roots are upwards and the branches are downwards. Of course, there is also a tree that is like that. The roots are on the top. Banyan tree. It's like that. So, yes, the material world says that it is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. Perverted reflection means it is real. We don't say it is false. It is real, but it is temporary. It is not eternal. So, in the spiritual world, it's full of bliss, ananda, chit. It's full of cognizance, sat, and it's eternal. Sat, chit, ananda. So here in the material world is the opposite. Nirananda. Nirananda means full of sufferings. Asat. Asat means it's temporary. And achit. Achit means it's not ignorance. Ignorance. Achit means it's not cognizance. That means it's forgetfulness. And it says here, it's very difficult to analyze, because how can you just like try to figure out yourself or try to imagine in such a way. That's why he says that, and everything is described in the Vedas, this knowledge. And because Krishna is the compiler of the Vedas, so he's ultimately the knower of the Vedas. And it will be explained here also later on. Vidaisya sarvair aham eva vedya vedantakrit vedavid eva chaham. I am the compiler of the Vedas. And definitely we don't have one lifetime to study the Vedas. We don't even read every day, so how we can understand the whole Vedas? But Prabhupada says the Bhagavad-Gita is the essence of the Vedas. So if you can understand just one book, the Bhagavad-Gita, then you'll be able to surpass, or yes, we'll be able to surpass, we'll be able to overcome these modes of material nature. In the spiritual world, there's only one nature, pure goodness, Visuddha Sattva. That is the predominating energy in the spiritual world. In the material world, everything that's going on here is under the modes of material nature. Mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. And according to the qualities that we acquire, we get specific forms or bodies. There's no such thing as pure ignorance. There's no such thing as pure passion. It's always mixed. But there is what you call pure goodness. That exists. Pure goodness means transcendental, spiritual. And it says here in the Shastras that this modes of material nature is the one that binds the living entities. That means in every species of life, whether one is in human form of life or even in lower species of life. Lower species of life, they are more in the modes of ignorance and passion. Human form of life, we're a little bit more of passion, less ignorance. And those who are in the higher planetary systems, that means the demigods and higher beings, they are more in the mode of goodness, but still mixed with passion and ignorance. As compared, these modes of material nature is compared to these three primary colors: yellow, blue, and red. Red for passion. Blue for ignorance, and yellow for goodness. So if you're an expert painter, you know how to combine this 3 times 3, as Prabhupada says, give an example. 3 times 3, you'll have 9 different colors. Then 9 times 9, you have 81 different colors. Then 81 times 81, whoever is good in math, they can do it again, 600 something. So, according to these combinations of the modes of material nature, we're given specific bodies. Those who are in the mode of ignorance, then that means they're in the lower, more in the mode of ignorance. That means their specific form is in the lower species of life, and accordingly, their sense enjoyment is according to the qualities that they acquire. So, if you're in the mode of ignorance, then your sense enjoyment is also in the mode of ignorance. The body that you acquire is in the mode of ignorance, more in the mode of ignorance or passion. Then accordingly, the objects of your sense enjoyment is accordingly. That's why it says those who are in the heavenly planets, they have better sense enjoyment because they're more in the mode of goodness. That means their sense of enjoyment is far greater than what we have here. But still the same. It's full of sufferings, whether you're in the heavenly planets or you're in the lower planetary systems. The place is Dukkhalayam Asasatam. It's temporary and it's full of miseries. Very important here is that we have to understand these 3 modes of material nature, because we are bound by these modes of material nature. The living entities are bound. Everybody, this mode of ignorance, passion, and goodness is compared also as gunas. Gunas means rope. 3 gunas. It's like the rope. Usually, it is made of 3 strands. You know, you have just like in the Philippines, they call it Manila hemp, the rope. The rope, that's why it is very strong. It's very difficult to break. So these modes of material nature, for the living entities, if they're bound, very difficult to release, to be released. It says in the Bhagavad-Gita, in order for one to release somebody else who are bound by the modes of material nature, first of all, you have to have yourself unbound. If your hands are tied up, then how can you untie somebody else's? Only those who's not bound by the material nature, they can also unbound others. They can also release others. So this, yes, it's here. As a tree is nourished by water, so this tree is nourished by the three modes of material nature. Sometimes we find that a tract of land is barren for want of sufficient water, and sometimes a tract is very green. Similarly, where particular modes of material nature are proportionately greater in quantity, the different species of life are manifested accordingly. Yes, according to the qualities that one acquires, due to also karma. Karma. We took birth in a specific country and a specific city or village and in a specific family. I was just watching the other day, because in YouTube you learn a lot. The astronomers, they map the universe. I don't know how they did it. Map the universe. Map. You know, they kind of like, yeah, the chart. They somehow or other, the different galaxies here and different many stars, and they measure somehow. I don't know how they do that. They measure from one end to the other end, and it's all clusters of stars and planets, and it's like bewildering. And one planet, our Earth, is considered as one of the smallest planet. And we live in a certain place, like here in Vrindavan. And for a person, he thinks that he's the center of the universe. We're just like one of practically unlimited. As Prabhupada says, we're just, our planet is like, or our universe is like one seed, a mustard seed, and a bag of mustard seeds. So can you imagine how many universes in the material world? And the material world is only 1/4 of the entire creation. Where we are, material world, is also part of the kingdom of God. We're also part of the kingdom of God. The spiritual world also is part of the kingdom of God. But we are imprisoned here, so to speak. Or in the prison house, you cannot really like move around. It's like you're contained in a certain area, and you can only move in that way, that area. So also, similarly, we think we are free, but we're not free. We are bound by the modes of material nature, this goodness, passion, and ignorance. And according to the activities that we perform, then we create karma. And what is happening to us right now also is due to our karma from the past. And also, if one says that if one surrenders unto the Supreme Lord, then he becomes free. He's not more bound by the modes of material nature. One is under the transcendental platform. So according to one's karma, some are suffering too much. It's like we have different countries in this world. It's like right now there's war going on in the world. It's like in where's that? In Israel, Syria, where? Ukraine. Everywhere there is a war going on, and particularly there is a war going on inside our mind. We're like a small universe ourselves. It's a small universe, or a small country, or it's a small village. So the whole thing here, the prescription here, is that we have to get free from the modes of material nature. We have to know how this modes of material nature is working. And that was the previous chapter, the 3 modes of material nature. If we know the knowledge, if we're knowledgeable about these modes of material nature, then we'll be able to get out. The cause of us being bound in the material world is because of the modes of material nature. Now, to get out of the material world, we have to know these modes of material nature. Just like it says that if you're going, let's say you're walking, let's say you're doing a parikrama, and you got pierced by a thorn. Pierced by a thorn. What is the way how to get out of that thorn out of your foot? Another thorn, right? It's the same. You get another piece of thorn, and with the piece of thorn, you'll be able to take it out also. And it says in the Bhagavad-Gita, there are different kinds of these divisions of nature, modes of nature. And there are 9 ways. In charity, you can give in the mode of goodness, you can give in the mode of passion, and you can give in the mode of ignorance. Religion also, there are different. There is what you call cheating religion. That is a mode of ignorance. One can be in a cheating, and so many kinds of religions nowadays in this world. It's like in the Philippines, they're like, so many kinds of Roman Catholicism. It's like we were driving also in Detroit, Michigan, USA. There's different kinds of churches. And they're all supposed to be Roman Catholics. Even in Muslims, how many kinds of different sects in Muslims? How about in Hinduism? There's so many kinds also. Some are in the mode of ignorance, black magic. So accordingly, ultimately, one has to learn this. One has to be introspective. And ultimately, with the help of the devotees, one can wake up. One can be reminded of. One can be taught this knowledge. So here it says, the twigs of the trees are considered to be the sense objects. By development of the different modes of nature, we develop different senses, and by the senses, we enjoy different varieties of sense objects. That's why no 2 individuals are alike. Even twins, what you call Siamese twins. Siamese twins, they exactly look alike, but they each has its own likes and dislikes. Same features, same nose, same eyes. Siamese. Siamese means exactly the same. Same height, but each has its own, each has its own nature. Each has its own preference of, let's say, let's say juice. I like orange juice. The other one says, I like strawberry juice. It's different. Completely different. Completely unique. So, each and every one of us, we acquire these different senses, the sense of touch, the sense of taste, the sense of smell, different kinds of nose, different kinds of eyes, accordingly from our past. And accordingly to what we have, we are affected. We are affected by these modes of material nature. We have different kinds of preferences in how we want to enjoy. And the more we want to fulfill the dictations or the demands of these senses to enjoy, then the more we get more and more entangled. The more we create future species or forms of bodies. The only way how we can become free from taking another birth is that if we use these senses by fulfilling the senses of Krishna. Rishikesh is the master of the senses. So if we use the same senses, whatever they have, even if we're, let's say, in the mode of ignorance, and we understood somehow, by the mercy of the Supreme Lord Himself or His pure devotees, and we use the same senses to please the senses of the Supreme Lord, we dovetail our sense of enjoyment to please the senses of the Supreme Lord. Rishikesh then becomes purified. So it says here, the tree is compared to that. There's different branches, there's different tips, there are different twigs. These are all, according to the scriptures, is that we are entangled. We are entangled in this, labyrinth. We can only be released if we can understand the real root of this. And the real root is Krishna. So it says here, the real root is from Brahmaloka, and the other roots are in the human planetary systems. Ultimately, the source of the roots and everything is Krishna. And one has to understand that karma is only applicable to human form of life. The animals, the lower species of life, they don't accrue karma. They don't know. It's like Prabhupada gave an example. If it's a red light and a dog walks, the police will not stop the dog. Hey, you didn't see it's a red light? You have to stop. But if you have a car and there's a policeman there just watching whoever will cross, you'll get a ticket. Why? Because it is your responsibility. Human form of life means a life of responsibility. We cannot say, I'm sorry, officer, I didn't see it. I didn't know that there is a law. No, there is a law. Law of man and law of nature. It's like, whose law? It's a law of nature. The law of nature is given to us for our own benefit. If it's a free world, you can do anything and everything you want. Well, some people say like that. There is no God, and therefore I can do anything and whatever I like to do. I don't care. I don't believe that there is, well, let's see. You don't know, because when you die, your next life, you're not sure where you're going to go. But an intelligent person, he is conscious. Hey, am I doing the right thing or wrong thing? So that's why we should be always introspective. Introspective means before we say something, we have to think first. Not just once, twice, even 3 times. Because somehow or other, we can correct ourselves. if we know that we are used to being in the mode of ignorance and passion, that's why there's what you call discrimination. We have to discriminate. We have to choose the right association. We have to choose the right people. We have to choose the right food. Even in food, there are different kinds. There is mode of passion, ignorance, and goodness. Some they like spicy, chili, bahut masala. They like, tangy, like they really can taste. Some like fried food stuff, but some they like, no chili. Yes, like if you go to Russia, you don't see much chili, or in the Philippines also. Well, one of the hottest chili in the world is in the Philippines. So they like that also, what they eat. So we have to understand these modes of material nature, just like these are categorized in the Bhagavad-Gita. Later on, if you check into this, different chapters, the divisions of faith, and so on, then you can check yourself. You can check yourself. Hey, is that in the mode of goodness? Is that in the mode of passion? Is that in the mode of ignorance? As Prabhupada says, at least we should be in the mode of goodness. Because next to the mode of goodness is pure goodness. As Prabhupada says also, at least we should be in the Madhyam platform. Don't remain in the Kanista platform. A Madhyam platform, he is able to discriminate God, he is able to discriminate God, he is able to discriminate the innocents, he is able to discriminate the envious. He is able to understand those who are be able to take up to the process, those who are inimical. He knows how to avoid things. So ultimately, everything will depend on our discrimination. If we understand, this is mode of goodness, it's like automatically those who are even in the neophyte stage of devotional service, bhakti-yoga, they should be in the mode of goodness. Ultimately, in the beginning, right from the very beginning. Usually neophytes means a little bit more in ignorance and passion, right? Like sleeping while chanting, that is mode of ignorance. But then when you start to understand, hey, I should be awake while chanting, then you're coming up into the level of goodness. Hey, I should remember Krishna while chanting, then you're in the mode of goodness. If you are keep going like that, and you always remember Krishna whenever you chant, and even while not chanting, and you see Krishna everywhere, seeing Krishna everywhere means you are in the mode of pure goodness. That doesn't mean you see Krishna. That means you connect everything that you see with Krishna. That is pure goodness. So, in human form of life, it is only applicable this karma. This karma. One cannot say there is no karma. Then how can you explain? Some are poor, some are rich, some are intelligent, some are full of ignorance, some are beautiful, some are not so beautiful. So how can you say that if there is no law of karma? Accordingly to the modes of material nature that we acquire, guna, and the activities that we perform, we actually get the resultant reaction from nature. Nature means the law, modes of nature, these laws of nature from the Supreme Lord Himself. So, we're going to be guided here as we go on how this tree develops, and ultimately how to meditate unto this level whereby the ultimate cause is the Supreme Lord Himself. Srila Prabhupada says that the ultimate way, the ultimate purpose of the Vedas is to know Krishna. To know Krishna. And to know Krishna means, how to know Krishna means to chant the holy name of the Lord, to convince us. So it is very interesting how this developed, and how in the Bhagavad-Gita, the Supreme Lord telling Arjuna how to understand this. It's not possible for us to understand ultimately, but He's giving us hints, slowly, then ultimately we'll be able to understand the Supreme Lord's position, being transcendental, and we're also transcendental, but we're covered up by the modes of material nature. That is the main difference. The devotees, they can understand, even in the neophyte stage, that I'm covered up. The materialist, they are completely covered up, and they don't have realization that they are covered up. They will say, but this is my nature. And sometimes devotees say like that also. Isn't it? You know, sometimes because we have, from our previous lifetimes, we have some qualities that which is not appropriate even in the practice of bhakti-yoga. But the more we chant, the more we hear about Krishna, this will be polished up. This will be like washed away. But sometimes devotees will say, "Oh, Prabhu, this is my nature. How can I change?" You cannot change. That is my nature. No, that is not your nature. That is your conditioned nature. That is your conditioning. We have to get out of that conditioning. So in spite of our conditionings, the more we practice bhakti, then the more this will be washed away. Is goodness, passion, and ignorance, and ultimately will come to the level of pure goodness. And that is only attainable, especially when we chant the holy name of the Supreme Lord and hear more about Him. There's no other way. So don't be discouraged. Even though we have so many qualities that we need to polish up, this will go away. Laziness, sleepiness. These are, lower modes. That's why it says when you chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, automatically it puts you into the transcendental platform. But we don't have so much faith, and we have other priorities besides chanting of the holy name or hearing about the glories of the Supreme Lord. That's why the fulfillment of the goal is kind of slow. But definitely we're in the right track. It's better to be in the right track. And it's not how fast you do it, it's how you gradually, slowly and gradually really understand the process. Because it's not so easy to understand these things. Not so easy. It becomes easy though when you hear it from those who understand the process and explaining it to us. And Srila Prabhupada is so kind. It took him 3 times to finish the Bhagavad-Gita. 3 times. First it was exchanged, then it was stolen, and then this is the one. Okay, we'll stop here for now. Any questions or comments? You have any mic? You can give the mic so they can hear from the... Oh, okay, no problem. No problem. Yes, you have the mic. Yes.
Maharaj, you were speaking about the Panyan is upside down,
Mm-hmm.
and you were giving the example of the demigods, they are in the mode of goodness and mixed passion and ignorance.
Yes.
So how the demigods are devotees of the Lord? So how they are in mode of passion and ignorance?
The what? Who is in the mode of passion and ignorance?
Demigods.
The demigods? Because they have desires, ulterior desires. If your desire is only for Krishna, then you are not under the modes of material nature. Anybody is not, anyone and anybody and everything in the material world are under the modes of material nature. There is no exception. You cannot be exempted. That's why even King Indra is the king of the demigods. But he's very passionate. He's supposed to be in the mode of goodness. He's very passionate. But that kind of passionate and the kind of passionate here maybe differ, but still passionate. But still there is some goodness in King Indra also. As we mentioned earlier, there is no such thing as pure passion and pure ignorance. Even the worst criminal, there's a little bit of goodness. Sometimes they're quiet, you know. Again, we've seen in YouTube, some animals, really wild animals, and he was trying to capture a deer. And this deer, baby deer, was crying. And there's a lion is just right there. So the baby deer was crying for the mother deer. And the lion, somehow, she's a mother also. Okay, so she understood the feelings of the deer. And she did not eat the deer. Actually, she protected the deer. You see? So even the worst was that all the saints have passed, and all the sinners have future, and all the saints have passed. You understand? So only when you become pure devotee, then no more goodness, no more passion, no more ignorance. Even if you're a demigod, you're supposed to be in a mode of goodness, but there is also passion and ignorance there.
Just like in this material world, there is mode of passion and ignorance.
What's that?
In this material world, there is mode of passion and ignorance.
Yes.
So how to become a pure is completely aloof from these things.
You have to know these things. You have to know what is goodness, passion, and ignorance. And that's why we spoke earlier, you have to know and discriminate. You have to know how to discriminate. Okay? It's like if you're going to a place, this is mode of ignorance. Avoid this. This is mode of goodness? Okay. I can learn. Because the symptoms of the mode of goodness is knowledge. You'll get knowledge. It's like in universities, of course. Universities, it's not really a knowledge. As Prabhupada says, it's slaughterhouses. But people there, they are inclined to learn. So this is very important. We really have to know what is goodness, what is passion, and what is ignorance. In the food that we eat, I already explained that. In the association, even amongst devotees, practicing devotees, sadhakas, you have to choose. Some of them, they're good in prajalpa. You have to avoid this kind. That's why it says that you should always very eager to associate those devotees who are more advanced than you are. Then you'll make advancement. Because they'll be able to carry you. Those who are sadhakas, practicing, who are in the mode of ignorance. It's like even in bhakti, in devotional service, third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is practicing devotional service in the mode of ignorance. Practicing devotional service in the mode of passion. Practicing devotional service in the mode of goodness. So you, not just you, all of us, we really have to learn this. This is what it called discriminate. A person who is mad, he cannot discriminate. And the whole material world is full of mad people. The dogs and cats, they cannot discriminate. Only human form of life, they can discriminate. It is our responsibility to discriminate, to know what to do and what not to do. And that's why there is a sastras, sadhu, and gurus. They will be able to understand these things. Okay, over there.
In the first verse, it is said that this banyan tree is imperishable.
Imperishable.
It exists forever.
Yes.
So this material world exists forever.
Yes.
It's not temporary. It's manifestations.
No.
Of these manifestations are
Yeah.
temporary.
Yeah.
But it forever exists.
For no.
House will exist
Yeah.
forever.
It is forever, but there is a dissolution. Dissolution means there is an interim. It's like we're eternal, right? But we are also kind of like put into suspension by having this material body. So when we sleep, we are temporarily dead person. It's like Prabhupada says, sleep means temporary death. But you're alive. And when you wake up, sometimes, I mentioned this, when I wake up, sometimes I cannot even figure out where, immediately if you're traveling, it says, where am I? You're eternal, but similarly, this material world is eternal, but there is a certain part where it's put into, suspension. When Lord Vishnu breathes in, everything stops. Then when he breathes out, then everything comes out from the pores of his. That's the creation. But there is eternal, but then there is a, state whereby you are in sleeping state. Okay?
So then, this material world is considered to be the body of Lord Brahma. So this banyan tree inside of the body of Lord Brahma, actually we are also in the body of Lord Brahma. We are acting inside of the body of Lord Brahma. And
you're also like a Lord Brahma. There's so many insects in your body, so many germs.
Yeah.
So
we are just copying each other. So in more smaller.
Yeah, it's smaller, even smaller, it's much smaller. Amoeba, amoeba? Amoeba is very, very small.
And you said this tree exists, but tree exists because reflection of the real tree in the spiritual world,
Yes.
which where exists all variegated
Whatever,
nature.
yeah. Whatever we have here
Yeah,
is there also.
there.
Yeah.
But the tree should be reflect on something, on some very polished surface. So this surface is our desire. The water on which reflected this banyan tree is actually our desire. And these three modes of material nature, they're coming out of pradhan only due to our desire, nothing else. Only our desire.
So we have to purify.
Creation fulfills our desire. Actually, we are in.
Sometimes he fulfills, sometimes not.
But we are in spiritual world also. Everybody.
And as we mentioned, this is
But
part of
we
the
are
kingdom of God.
But we are sinking in illusion that there is material world and there is no God.
There is no, if you are Krishna conscious, you are in the spiritual world, even though your body is in the material world. Right now we're in the spiritual world in Vrindavan, but our consciousness is not spiritual. So, he's saying, the whole idea here is whatever we desire should be with Krishna. Then you're not in this tree. You're not part of this inverted tree. You are in the real tree.
So we will come to that later on when only by the by our detachment from this material world we can cut this
By
tree
being free from false ego.
from false ego and
Yes.
detach.
Yeah, detached. One cannot be detached. One cannot be detached. One cannot be detached if he does not know his position. And right now, we know what is our position, but we're still in false ego. Our position is we're all eternal servants of Krishna. But due to our false ego, we act as if we are the master. We are the enjoyer. And that's why we are still in the material platform.
And this desire cannot be free from the desire just by our wanting to do it. It's some specific process to be free from desire.
Once you
It's a
become,
knowledge.
it says,
Knowledge and realization.
it says when you become sick of the material world, when you become sick and tired of the material world, then you give up all of these things.
You know, I'm observing so many very, very old people. They already living a long time in this material. Still, they have lost. They have
Yeah.
other desires.
Because they don't want to give up their false ego. As soon as we come to the level, we'll discuss this later on. This is in, I'll be giving class again in fifth verse, the day after tomorrow. So we'll discuss this about false ego.
Why we are afraid to be free from this false ego? Because we are not sure in our real ego who we are.
No, we're
As
afraid.
soon as we will know who I really are, then immediately
That's why Krishna will send his representatives to slap us in the face. Wake up to real reality. That's why Guru means heavy. It cuts your attachment. Guru means heavy, means it cuts your attachment. With love. Everything with love. Bhakti means love.
And last point is material world exists eternally, is eternal, and this prison house is eternal because as soon as one portion of living beings they are released from this prison house, immediately it will be filled with another portion will come, another portion of the same portion which will occupy the places of that release.
Yeah.
So this is like government builds cities and immediately builds a prison house. It's needed because Krishna knows our nature. Because we are so small, so we can fall anytime.
Yes. Anything else? Yes.
Prabhuji, you said that people say that I cannot change my nature.
Yes.
So
That means conditioned. You are conditioned when you say that.
But then Shri Hari, Vishnu, Bhagavan Vishnu, he has created categories of human beings based
Okay.
on their nature only. Because
Yeah.
he knows that nature is very, very tough to be changed.
Yeah, in the beginning, but you have to go beyond that. You have to go beyond that. It's like this Varnashram Dharma. If you're a Brahmana, you're more in the mode of goodness. Satriya, mode of passion. Vaishya, mixed passion, ignorance. And Sudra, more in the mode of ignorance. But even a Sudra can become in the mode of pure goodness if you become a devotee. So a Sudra cannot just say, Prabhu, this is my nature. I'm in the mode of ignorance. No, that's not your nature, real nature. Because the soul is beyond the modes of material nature. We're covered up. Okay, so in the beginning is like that. Yes. But you are not that, because you are not the body, your spirit soul. So in the beginning you can say that, oh Prabhuji, no, you are, sometimes, my sister will say like that also. But you're not. That's not your nature. Your real nature is that you're pure. Right now, there is some covering. But that covering should be uncovered.
It's very difficult to change their nature.
It's difficult. Very difficult. But when you come to bhakti, it will eventually become cleared. It will become cleansed. And this chanting is the most important.
You want to be honest, they're not ready to listen at all.
Then you don't disturb them. If they don't want to listen, they learn in the hard
You
way.
can't change the nature.
Time will change them. We cannot change them. But the time says time heals, right? Time heals in due course of time. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, you cannot force anybody to take up Krishna consciousness. It's not possible to force anybody. But we can show the direction, and once they take up to the direction, it's up to them to expedite it. It's up to them to stop for some time, then continue. But the direction is there.
Like you gave the example of a rope. It's maybe 3 years.
Yes.
So nature is like that, and it's very tough to be broken.
Yeah. That's why we need Guru. The Guru is the one who can release us. Not just Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru also. They're both the same, Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru. They're equally the same.
Because they're free.
Yeah, because because they are with Krishna. They are with Krishna. They're transcendental. That's why it says Guru is from Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means no anxiety, no modes of material nature. So they can free us. Shiksha Gurus are like that also. They are from Vaikunthas. But Shiksha Guru is not just what we think it was Shiksha Guru, telling you this. No, they're very high also. Very, very pure.
Krishna is Guru Supreme. He is the Supreme Guru, If
Yeah.
you stand in front of Krishna just for a minute or something, and you're thinking you have some questions, these questions are answered.
Yes, but you have to. You can hear Krishna when your senses are fully under control. When your mind is peaceful, it says in the Bhagavad-Gita, then the super soul is already rich. You can hear because Krishna is present in us. What's that? Antaryami, huh? Inside. Yes. You have a question?
Maharaj, Prabhupada said that after die, if you have desire, we go to the heaven planets.
If you desire,
If you have desire, after die, we go to the heaven planets and stay there for 10,000 years, enjoying life. And my question is, how can we go to the spiritual world after 10,000 years enjoying? Is this
I
good
know.
for us? Or
I don't know. Did you hear that? Prabhupada says that?
No.
As
This is
I heard
something.
this after when Janardana Prabhu
Oh,
did his body, Prabhupada
oh.
about this with Ramakrishna Maharaj.
The Prabhupada says Jayananda Prabhu went back to Godhead.
After Prabhupada knows how Janardana Prabhu did his
But
body.
you know what? Sorry. 10,000 years in in terms of eternity, it's nothing. It's like few seconds. Not even few seconds. It's nano of a second. So it'll be fast.
My question is this the only process? There is another situation for the devotees, or this is the natural process for every devotee?
No. If you're surrounded by devotees, when you chant the holy name of the Lord and you think of Krishna and you see Krishna while chanting and you die, you go back straight to the spiritual world.
But if you have desires, you go to
If you have desire even for one rasgula, you have to come back to get that rasgula.
So my point is we are practicing the process that we are trying to give pleasure for Krishna all
Yes.
the time.
Yes.
So if we go to different places
But
that we have to enjoy,
no, you see, I've never heard of. Did you hear that? Have you heard of Prabhupada says you take birth 10,000 years?
There was one quote from Vishaka's book, The Rare Human Form of Life. She said in the early days, they were told that Prabhupada said that many of his disciples would go to the heavenly planets.
Yes.
Because that's what they want.
Yeah.
But he didn't say that it's not required to go to the heavenly planets. He said if you want to go to the
Yes.
that might be your destination. But if you want your devotional service, you can go straight there.
Yeah, well, I've heard a quote from Prabhupada that most of my disciples, they just want to go to the heavenly planets. Means they just want to enjoy.
so this is not.
But not before you going back to Godhead that you'll take birth in the heavenly planets for 10,000 years. That's what you're trying to say, right?
Sorry.
It's not that before going back to Godhead, you take birth in the heavenly planets for 10,000 years. Even if you take birth in the lower planetary system, hellish planetary systems, the devotee, it doesn't matter where he is. It depends on where Krishna wanted them to be. There will always be chanting and there will always be spreading the holy name. So it doesn't matter where you are. It's the consciousness. So if you have perfected your life before the time of death, and even at the time of death, it doesn't matter where you are. You are in the spiritual world. So the desire is very important at the time of death. Okay? Prabhupada says we should desire it so much. If our desire is not so much to go back to Godhead, we will not go back to Godhead. We will still be hovering round and round and round in the material world. So the desire is very important here. Do you understand? Hold on. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand. But if I have a desire, but I have no purification enough to go to the spiritual world or bhakti, so what happens after dying? I don't.
If you
I
don't,
don't want to go to the heaven.
so it says in the Bhagavad-Gita, you'll take birth in a higher family like devotees, or you'll take birth in an aristocratic family where you will take up to the process again until you succeed. There is no loss.
I'm concerned and I worry about this a rule. You have to go to the heaven planets.
You don't have to go to the heavenly planets. You can go straight, especially with the mercy of Guru and Vaishnavas and Krishna. Okay? It's good to have that kind of worry. I wish I can have that kind of worry. Devotees are worry free. You have to worry. If you don't worry, how can you make advancement? Isn't it? I'm worried about my sadhana. I'm worried about my chanting. I'm worried about my relationship with Vaishnavas. I'm worried about what I'm going to say. I'm worried about many things. That is healthy. If you have no worry, that is unhealthy. Okay? So that is a good, you're worried about that.
Thank you very much.
Can we stop here now? Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Dhanyavad.